2016 Dodge Ram 2500 with the 6.7 Cummins. History behind this one is it had a DCU, or what they call a dosing control unit, lost communication, and we'll show you here. It lost communication with reductant control module, and it also had a performance or implausible data from it, which I imagine because of the comm to that. So, and I'm looking under the truck. We found this DCU in there. This camera focuses here. Oh my gosh, come on, camera. Bunch of corrosion on that pin. And we had a bunch of corrosion on this old connector, which I put a new pigtail on. Man, I wish this thing would focus. I put a new pigtail on this as well. Replaced those, programmed it. However, we are still having issues, obviously, with the communication with it. So if you look at the schematic, before we do that, the code is a U010E. That's one of them. And it doesn't throw right away. It may not throw for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but lately it's been doing it every few minutes, especially when I put it in drive or reverse or drive, which is kind of weird to me. I erase these. And if you look at the service data, the wiring diagram, right here, there's two connectors, connector 1 and connector 2. We're on connector 1. Pin 5, you got battery voltage coming in from the fuse block, power distribution center, and then you got a ground. I took those and I used a test light, incandescent test light, and I loaded up. Those circuits tested good. There's also a DC wake-up signal from the PCM, which gives it 12 volts, and it always gives it 12 volts, keeps it awake. I scoped out the graphing multimeter, and it was fine. I did see it go from 12 volts to 4 volts one time, but it hasn't done that since, so I thought I had it right there, the other issue. Again, this is the connector we repaired because of the corrosion. So, again, power and ground's good, module going in. I don't care about the heater supply right now. And the DC wake-up signal from the PCM was good. But there's J1939 high and J1939 low. That's how it talks to the PCM. So I have these scoped right now. J1939 high, J1939 low, and the wake-up signal. And I'll show you what I'm getting on that with the oscilloscope. And it explains here how this works. The DEF dosing control unit controls operation of the fluid. Let's see what's the good. Over the J1939 data link. Because he has these, you know, his cluster has these DEF messages coming up. So for this code to set, the data link communication between the DEF dosing control unit and the powertrain has been lost. So we're checking power, grounds, and a communication. Of course, you know, you can go through the troubleshooting tree, which we have done all that. Wake up signal, we check that. Basically says check the resistance of these circuits for the J1939. But what I want to do is scope this and look at it. So, going back to this. So I still have a code here. I have key on, engine off. What I've noticed, that's why I wanted to start filming this now. What I've noticed is this trouble code is active, right? And if I go to my oscilloscope, key on, engine off, and I play this, okay, there's CAN high, J1939, not CAN, J1939 high, J1939 low, 5 millisecond division. Well, there's a lot of data in there, and I've only noticed a ton of data fill up in the screen when I have no communication. So if I can get it to have communication again, then I'll show you the difference. Well, let me see here. Turn the key off. Turn it on. Start it. Read codes. Yeah, right away. Lost communication with reductive control module, implausible data received from reductive control module. That's the other code I was talking about. We got to fix this. When I was using YTech to program this, or before I programmed it, when I was troubleshooting it, before, I would notice on the YTech topology, I would have, on the YTech topology, it showed a DCU. Well, it shows it on here too. And I would have it where I had communication, and I wouldn't have communication. So that's why we put one in. We don't have communication now. High-speed CAN for critical nodes. So they're calling this high-speed CAN for critical nodes 2, which is your J1939. But if you look at this scope, what I thought was weird is CAN high, CAN low, but CAN high has these low parts going down. I'm like, why is that? Then if I zoom in, it doesn't even look like a square wave. And I need to look at, it's not even square. No, I need to look at, I mean, the top's not square. How this J1939, is it like a CAN bus? Does it resemble that? I got to look up that data and read up on that. CAN high, CAN low. Just thought that was weird. And the amplitude is different on them. I know my scale's a little different if you measure it. So like, I'm on red here. Just CAN high, bias voltage 2.5, going high to like 4 and 3, 5 volts. That's weird. Now on the green one, I said CAN high, it's J1939 high. Now J1939 low, 2.5 bias voltage down to like right there, 1.25 down to 900 millivolts down to 0 volts. Kind of weird. So let's put a third channel in, which is our, get these down. This third channel, this blue tracer, is our wake up voltage. This is just a constant 12 volts. Well, let me go back to the blue one, get the right voltage. Our alternator voltage, 14, okay, that's constant voltage. That's the wake up signal. That's when I saw it drop to 4 one time. Maybe it's my connection, maybe not. I'm not sure. What is weird to me though, is it mirrors this on the J1939 bus. The little oscillations in there mirrors it on the bus. Why would a constant voltage read or mirror this message? Because this is just our 12 volts. Battery voltage, alternator voltage. But we're getting a signal on that as well. Like it's matching up to these waveforms. So what I need to do, what I think I need to do, is check from here to there to there, from the DCU to the PCM or ECM, make sure there's not high resistance, make sure they're not shorted to each other, make sure they're not shorted to ground. Put a J1939, J1939 low, and the wake up signal, and then go from there. Before we do that, look, my DCU, I have COM again. And I never have codes in the DCU. It's only in the ECM. Let's do key on engine off. Let's clear these codes again. I got my oscilloscope running in the background. I can split screen it, but I got a lot of channels on here. Maybe that's just because of when the key on engine off, all this data, but Like I said, I thought I noticed it when it's not communicating, it does that, but maybe I misspoke on that part. Okay, so green, let's fault scan it again. See what we got. Now my DCU is not coming online. What the heck? Fault scan it again. Eventually it's going to throw a code in. I think it's at 3 attempts. Yeah, right there. DCU. Not online, and I got lost comm with it. Well, you can see it's not talking to it. Oh, man. Definitely not talking to it now. In our scope readings, turn the key off, it goes like that. I turn the key off, then I can talk to the DCU, but no ECM obviously. Turn the key on, fault scan it, no comm to the DCU but comm to the ECM. Same 2 codes, lost comm and impossible data. What in the heck? I know which direction we're going. We need to check those wires, but just trying to see, get some more data for us here. Start it. Quick erase. Probably not going to erase it. It's supposed to be key on engine off. Just fault scan, see if the DC comes back.
Food is here.
So now the DCU's back. Quick erase. Fault scan. Again, the engine's running. It's talking to the DCU. Go to our oscilloscope. There's our data. Now here's what I find interesting. I'll push the brake right now. I'll put it in reverse. And look, all that gets, string gets solid. I'll put it back in park. Now let's go to drive, reverse neutral drive. There's drive. And then back to reverse. And then back to park. Maybe it's a different dosing area. I let off the brake. We're back in park. Solid there as far as information. Let's fault scan it. See if we lost, we lost comm again. No comm to the DCU, and I have solid. So we need to check those wires like I talked about. J1939 high, J1939 low, and the wake up signal. So I'm under the truck, move this harness, it was up against this, forced in there, open the loom up. You can see this can wire in white with the blue tracer. It's got it's worn out, or not worn out, it's been, well, I guess it's been chafing pretty good. The damn thing focuses right there. I gotta fix that. That's blue with a white tracer. Well, these show white with the dark blue tracer. Let me look at that again. Yeah, it's white with the dark blue tracer. So it's this one, white with the dark blue tracer. It's the J1939 positive bus. Which would make sense why our bus is all messed up. Let's fix that. Alrighty, so I fixed J1939 high and J1939 negative. J1939 positive and negative. The positive one was pretty much broken all the way through, it looked like. Negative was just chafed a little bit. I rehit and did it. I didn't find any more wires broken in here or chafed. So these two should be twisted in a pair. That's your J1939 from your ECM to your DCU. Alright, so we fixed those connectors down there like I just said. However, now our J1939 positive, we don't even have a waveform. And our negative, we do still. So if I turn these channels off, if we go to negative, J1939, we got our square wave, somewhat. We go to positive, J1939, I don't even have it. And I check my connections, I'm good down there on my ground on my scope, and I'm good down there at the DCU. So why is that? Here's the other thing, which is weird now. When you erase these codes, because we keep getting these codes back, but not the DCU. So I erase these, key on engine off, erased them. Watch what comes back. Lost comm with reducting control module, which we never had. Lost comm with knock sensor module B, which we never had. Lost comm with reducting quality module, which we never had. And lost comm with exhaust gas sensor module, which we never had. These are all in the J1939 bus 2, I believe. We have these now, but we never had these before. We had lost comm with the DCU, which we fixed. Now, is there another wiring issue? We've got to get back on the service data and take a look. All right, so when I scan it again, DCU is always green. We never lose comm now to the DCU, dosing control unit. However, we have all those codes in the ECM. Well, now we have no comm to the DCU. What in the hell? We don't have a code there for it, though. Let me start it here. The DCU showing offline. It was online, now it's offline. I know we have J1939 positive has some issues. Just fault scan it again. And why do we only got 12 volts right now? Why isn't it? I mean, the alternator should be kicking in shortly. There we go. Now it's going up. There we go. Now it's going up. But it's weird that, let's let with the scans again. Let's look at our bus. So CAN low is good, our J1939 low is good, but J1939 is bad. Our wake up signal is good. It's got a lot of hash on it. Like a ton of hash on the voltage signal. Obviously we still have an issue with this. And we have an issue with this right here. No DCU stuff yet, but reductant. Control module, NOx, reductant quality, and EGR. So if you look right here in the service data, the J1930 data link is a bus circuit which PCM uses to communicate with the DEF quality sensor, turbo actuator, DEF dosing control unit, NOx sensor 1, NOx sensor 1, 2, and particulate matter sensor if equipped. Your turbo actuator and NOx sensor 1 are located on their own network in the engine harness. Turbo actuator, NOx sensor 1. Well, we don't have a turbo actuator or NOx sensor 1. We have a NOx sensor B, which we think would be 2, so it's not that network. The DEF quality sensor, the DEF dosing control unit, the NOx sensor 1, 2, and particulate matter sensor if equipped are located in their network in a harness. Okay, so the DEF quality sensor, which is reducting quality, which is this one. The DEF dosing control unit, which we fixed. That's the one we just showed earlier in this video. The DCU, the knock sensor 1, 2. Lost communication with knock sensor B, which is going to be 1, 2. So we've got these two so far. Particulate matter doesn't have are located on a separate network in the vehicle. So where they're not talking about the reductant control module. No, the reductant control module is our dosing control unit. Duh. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. The DCU, we don't have COM. That's why back here it was gray. That is the DCU. We don't have COM with the DCU because we fixed that wire, but you can see the J1939 high bus wire we fixed. We don't have a signal like we did on the low bus wire. So that makes sense now. So the only thing is we don't have the EGR gas module. Let's look at that. So the DEF quality, DEF dosing control unit, quality dosing, NOx 1.2, NOx 1.2, particulate matter if equipped. I don't see particulate matter, just said EGR, or located on a separate network in a vehicle harness. If the J1939 data link is in the engine harness is shorted, communication loss DTCs will be set against the turbo actuator and knock sensor 1.1. We don't have that one shorted in the harness. If the J1939 data link in the vehicle harness is shorted, if the J1939 data link in the vehicle harness is shorted, communication loss DTCs will be set against the DEF quality sensor, which we have, DEF dosing control unit, NOx 1.2 we have, particulate matter we don't have, I don't believe. The DEF quality sensor, NOx 1.1, NOx sensor 1.2, pretty much sure this. The DEF quality sensor, NOx sensor 1.1, NOx sensor 1.2, particulate matter sensor clip, share the same fuse battery supply circuit in the power distribution center. All these sensors will lose communication if the fuse is blowing. The turbo actuator and DEF dosing control unit have their own separate fuse battery circuits in the PDC, which we saw earlier in this diagram in the beginning of this video. That fuse right there. So we got to figure out all of these are in common, these three. Reductant control module, which is the DCU, the NOx sensor B, loss common with reductant quality, and then the EGR must be on that bus too. Didn't really talk about that in there, but this, we have J1939 positive and negative, and if you look here, J1939, you turn the key on. So right here we got J1939 negative, we're good, but J1939 positive, we're not good. We don't have it no more, but we got to figure out why we don't have that bus no more. Even though we fixed the wire, you would think everything would be good, but there must be another wire issue. So reading through the service data here, are there lost communication DTCs present against all the components in the vehicle? DEF quality sensor, NOx, 1.2 DEF dosing tuning. Yes. Before we would go to no, only because we never had those before until we fixed this wire that you saw. So let's go to step 8. 8. Check the components on the J1939 data link. Disconnect only one component at a time during the next step. If the DTCs for this component, if the DTCs for the components that are still connected change from active to stored, the component that was disconnected is faulty. If all the DTCs remain active, then disconnect the component. Then disconnect the component is not the problem. Reconnect each component before going to the next step, so only so one component is disconnect at a time. What we see on the bus, we don't have J1939 positive. What it wants you to do in here, turn the ignition off, disconnect the DEF dosing unit control 1. That's the one we fixed. Cycle the ignition key on and off 3 times, ending with the ignition on, leave it on for 75 seconds each time. Wonder what that's doing, must be resetting it or something. Monitor the status of the DTCs for remaining connected components with the scan tool. Let me read through this and do this test. Alright, so reading through this, basically what we did is, we didn't do it all, but I kind of get what they're getting at here. We did this cycle three times, leave it off, 75 seconds off, and then the third time you leave it on. You read codes, and once you do this for each module on that bus we're talking about, which we are, and basically what it says is, did these change from active to stored? If they did, yes, you replace that. But we always have, ours are always active. And the scope tells us that we're not getting a J1939 positive. We don't have a square wave there. What it tells you to go to step 9. Oh, son of a bitch. Let me start over. All right, add the log back in. But it tells you to go to step 9. Check the J1939 data link for a short to ground. And I think that's what we have going on this J1939 data link. So once you turn ignition off, disconnects knock sensor 1, 2, def dose control unit 1, def quality sensor 1, and PCM connector. You measure resistance between the high, well in this case it'd be positive, to ground. And is it above 10,000 ohms? Yes, if it's below that, you got a short to ground, obviously. Check for a short to ground. And I think that's what we're going to have to do. And see where our short's at and go from there. Because in here, go back to this, we go to the red, we are reading basically 0 volts. 39 millivolts, that is to ground. So let's check that out next. So I'm not sure what the termination resistance on the J1939 link is. I need to look it up. I don't know if it's 60 ohms like they do on a CAN bus, or they run two 120s in parallel. But I got all the modules plugged in, and I'm looking at CAN high and CAN low. I'm just back probing to the wires, and I got, well, you can see it's reading all over the place. Now, is that that key's off, batteries are hooked up. Now that's all the modules plugged in. I need to look what the termination resistance would be, but I just want to get this documented. When it started, I swear it was thousands of ohms, and now it's 200 ohms. Yeah, right there. Restart it. I pull the meter, plug it back in, it's K ohms, half a thousand. And then it goes down to that, all over the place. So I just unplugged the DCU dosing control unit. Now I got 23 million ohms. Again, I don't know where the termination resistance on these or what they're supposed to be. I need to look that up. I'm just getting this documented because it may help me later, because this will probably be part 1 of this video series. Hopefully there's only one more part, but what I need to do now, I'm going to clean up all my stuff, get organized, and then I think what I need to do is get in the service information, some more look at the J1939 link, especially the positive side of it, and start checking for shorts to ground. Unplug all the modules, make sure it's not shorted to something else, shorted to ground, and then go from there. Look at this, now it's 61 ohms, so 60 ohms. Two 120 ohms in parallel would be 60. It's just been sitting there, and it went back to 60. Turn the key on and see what it does. Why would it do that? I turn the key on and then it's all over the place again. 1,000 ohms, 600 ohms, way high. Let me turn it back off. Half a thousand again. 200 ohms. Why is it bouncing all around? Is it because there's power going to these modules, or is there an issue? I need to take a look with this termination resistance. Well, I've been off the truck for 10 minutes now, and the termination resistance is going all over the place. No lights on the vehicle, everything's off. So this is going to be part 1 of this video series. No, just one way up. what I did there, bumped up. But anyways, it's gonna be part one of this video series. I gotta clean up and work on a couple of the cars at another shop. And then we'll go from there and see if we can figure out part two. But before I do that, I just looked again. Just as soon as I stopped recording, we got 60 ohms across the bus again. But anyways, we'll go continue on part two. Alrighty, and I know I keep saying I'm done with part one of this video, but not. I cleaned up all my tools, put everything away, get everything charged up, grabbed another auto, and all these codes went to stored before they're active. Let's erase it. Let's see what it does. Did it get logic locked from the bus, or is it actually shorted the ground? Let's take a look here and see if we can make it all in one part video. We'll fault scan it again. It cleared them. Be curious if we hook up the scope again and see what it shows. Because all the wires are fixed that we found, so it's good there. Let's go ahead and start it. Engine light's off. Scan it again. Put it in reverse. Before it seemed like it always acted up when I put it in gear. We have a park sense thing. That's a sensor in the back. We don't care about that. Say it's not in park because the door's open. That's that message. There's the park sense. It's park sensor 11. Separate issue. Just see here. Yeah, it's park conic sensor 11. Let's cycle it a few times. Start it. Like I said, I fixed the J1939 high and the J1939 low link. The 39 one was obviously bad. I really want to hook up my scope again and make sure that bus is back. What has to be back, because everything is reading. And nothing moved in this vehicle. Like, I didn't move anything. Unless it got logic locked after we repaired it. So everything's good now. Let me get my scope and hook up one more time. Alright, so I hooked up another scope, an MP408. I don't know why Autel discontinued these. It's a pretty good little scope. But I'm charging my other scan tool. So this is J1939 positive. Again, battery ground. Going down there. Back probed in there. There's our CAN high. Or J1939 high. So it's good. And then J1939 is good as well. So everything's good now. Well, it's all good now. I taped all the wires up. You saw the CAN bus was good. I just wonder if I got logic locked at the end, because I didn't find any more broken wires. I just taped everything up real good with some Tesla tape and some snake skin or whatever they call it, so I won't re-raw the wires a little bit. So, you know, obviously we had corrosion in this module here, the dosing control unit, you can see it. We had a bunch of corrosion in this connector, so put a big one in, a new one in. We programmed the dosing control unit. We had a J1939 bus issue, we fixed that. Then after we fixed it, we had no bus on the positive side for J1939. But with the key off for a while, it's like everything reset, and there's no broken other wires that I can find. Everything scopes good, everything's good. So that's a good fix for this Dodge truck.